Forget gurus. Forget anyone claiming to be an online business expert without going through the challenges of entrepreneurship themselves. The Real Money, Real Business podcast is here to prove the best insights in online business comes from your fellow online business builders. We dig into stories of entrepreneurs selling their business on the Empire Flippers marketplace so that you can learn how they made their business profitable, how they overcame obstacles, and what lessons they learned in their online journey. If you want to take your business and your knowledge to the next level, you've come to the right podcast. Let's get started.
Hello everyone, Craig here with another great business to discuss in this episode of the Real Money, Real Business podcast. Today's guests are Max and Vasil, and they're selling their Amazon FBA business on the Empire Flippers marketplace. So welcome to the show. How are you both doing today?
Hi Craig, I'm fine. Thanks for inviting.
Yeah, hi Craig. Really glad to be here. It will be awesome.
Good to have you both here, and thank you for joining us. And we're looking forward to talking more about your business. But before we dive in, let's go over a brief summary of the business. It's an Amazon FBA business in the personal care niche, created in June 2015. The average monthly revenue for the business is $117,524, and it makes an average of $19,553 net profit each month. For everyone listening, you can visit empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing 53420 to learn more about the business, or you can unlock this listing to start your due diligence if you're interested in purchasing this asset. So now that I've given a general overview of the business, let's have a look at what's included in the sale. We have the Amazon Seller Central account with 23 SKUs, a domain including all site content and files, 2 trademarks, supplier contracts and relationships, and a Facebook account. Inventory is not normally included in the list price, but further details can be provided to active buyers. And buyers should also be aware that it's best to have a VAT number in all UK, EU countries where this business has inventory stored before the transfer can finalise. It's highly recommended to begin the VAT registration process as soon as possible. Okay, now let's hear from you two. Can you tell us a little about your backgrounds in building and running online businesses?
Yeah, I think my background is I used to work for corporate guys for more than 15 years, I suppose. About 10 years in Procter & Gamble and any other international locations, more about marketing. But at a certain point of time, just decided together with my brother to start our own business. It always was, I think, my dream to develop the products on your own, to be in charge of all the processes around this or other business. So I think in 2015, I quit my corporate job, and Max will tell his story. He also quit his, and we just give him a call and say, hey, why don't we start the business together? And this is how it was started. And basically, we registered this company on the 1st of April, I suppose.
Yeah, that was really great. And from my side, I will tell you that I am a former lawyer, got more than 10 years of experience working with international law firms. And as Vasil said, in 2015, it was like, let's do something together. Let's do. And Amazon FBA business was like something really new for us. We never did this before. So we decided to start from the sandbox, and it was actually eBay. And then we realized that we've got more power to do. And as Vasil said, we registered the company in UK and started our first journey on Amazon and in UK, actually. And what Vasil said, we wanted to do something to create products, something real, something you can feel on your hands, something like that.
Excellent. Wow. Interesting stuff, and two, I guess, quite different backgrounds. But what sort of attracted you to the Amazon FBA business model in particular?
I would say the easiness. If I can say was one word, this was at that point of time, it sounds very easy. Well, when I was working for big companies, it seems like that creating a product, it's very complicated and demands a lot of time and money to develop and to start selling it across the world. But when I took some Amazon course and check it out from the other angle, it sounds like, wow. Basically, whatever idea you have in your mind was not a lot of cash investing in it, but you can just create products, what do you want, and do this global distribution around any country you want to.
And should add the next thing is here, while we quit our corporate jobs, the main thing was that we can spend time with the family because you're the own boss of your time and you can manage it properly and work, And that was like, for me, actually, it was like a great option because I travel a lot and I can work from any place in the world where the internet is. Everything you need is your laptop and Wi-Fi connection. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's two stories that I'm sure a lot of entrepreneurs, especially online entrepreneurs, can certainly relate to. And it's great that Amazon FBA gives people sort of segue into e-commerce, and if you have little to no experience. So yeah, it's really great to hear these stories. As for the business we have for sale today, could you tell us a little about the sort of journey you took to get it started, get it off the ground and grow it up?
Yeah, sure. I can do this. I think in 2016, we had like a 1-year experience on Amazon and we decided not to source products through Alibaba or through any other Chinese websites. So we decided to let's go there and try to source the products and to feel them in our hands, And in 2016, I went to China and I spent a lot of time there, like I think almost like 2 weeks or something like that, approximately. And there we found our products. Actually, I think we found lots of products, but these brand that we created after that, you can see it now. And when you are there, personally, you can get tons of information, actually, from your suppliers, from your agents, or from forwarding companies. You know how the things work there. So this brand started actually like to grow and to reach the stars in 2016, actually, when we went to China.
If I can add just a few things, that before we started this brand, we tried tons of different other SKUs and different other products so that we thinking it can be profitable and be interesting to do it. Just naturally, some of our ideas in terms of products and packaging, they started to grow bigger and bigger. And then we decided, okay, then this is the right time and just we need to focus on just one niche and try to expand our SKUs and our expertise there. This is what, just to add a few thoughts on what I was talking about.
Yeah, totally right.
Quite right. Yeah, that's an interesting story. So you're testing out products and that's sort of how you came across your niche, and yeah, you're able to build the business to where it is now. So how come you are selling the business at this point?
The matter is that at a certain point of time, we have launched another brand. So we got some expertise and great positions with our products. It was Belotta brand. But simultaneously, we have launched a new one, and we were also testing the water. But the new brand that we have launched, I think it was in 2019 or 18, trying an absolutely different niche, different approach. But it also started to grow, and because the other brand, it demands much more cash in terms of sales and inventory. And we have decided, okay, even though this brand survived during coronavirus and all this kind of stuff, and it's on a good track, what if we will sell it and reinvest it into the other brand that we are growing?
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that.
Right. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So you don't mind me circling back to when you were talking about sourcing your products in China. I see that you have 2 US-based 3PL warehouses that you're using for the fulfillment of orders. Could you just tell us a little about your supply chain?
Yeah, sure. Recently, I'll tell you more about background. So, a year ago, we were shipping actually all our products directly from China to FBA, and we were not using them. We knew about the 3PLs, but we didn't realize that we need to use them. Yeah, but recently, what happened on Amazon, and you should probably know, they have reduced the storage limits on Amazon on new SKUs, and they provided the API score on your Amazon account to keep the stock healthy. Yeah, So that was the main reason why we started to use 3PL. We've got, I think, 2 or 3 3PLs in the USA, one in the UK, and one in Germany for now. And we are like, our supply chain look like straightforward. We actually make the PO, the supplier is making the order, the agent is packing the order, and our forwarder is shipping the order. We managed to do this proportion like 80-20. So a lot of orders were coming through the sea and 20 of them were coming through the air. But like in different periods, it was changing. But the best way, everybody knows that to ship by sea, it will be much more cheaper now. And getting back to the 3PLs, a lot of stuff forwards are now stored on 3PLs because we are like fulfilling our stock from them. So from China to 3PL, from 3PL to Amazon FBA, just to keep everything like Amazon wants. So it's basically simple.
Okay, yeah, that sounds pretty straightforward. And you mentioned now the 3PL companies fulfill orders for you. As for the maintain the business, I see you have a team of employees who help you run the business. Could you tell us a little about those people and sort of what they do in the business?
Well, basically, the most of the job is done by 2 of us. And we partly hire some VAs from time to help us to manage it. And most of the job is done in terms of, because logistics and all the supply chain is on Mac's side. And in terms of sale, the optimization, the PPC is on my side. From time to time, we use the designer. You usually find it on Fever, and we have some good guys there. If you want, we can recommend it to help us. But this is more about, it was previously before we were doing this packaging and the nice listings. But all the rest is basically on our hands. Also, from time to time, I use the guys from also the freelancers for my bookkeeping. We have the accountant who's helping us to pay taxes and do all this financial bureaucracy stuff. But all the rest is on our hands.
Yeah, we are doing like almost by our hands, However, we do not work a lot during the week on this business. It's quite easy, just fulfilling this stuff. You got everything ready. And just from my side, I should always keep an eye on stock. Sometimes it's, when you're selling well, you should keep the stock in good shape and constantly push suppliers to make new one. That's it.
For now, it's kind of a machine. It's very hard to start a new stuff. And at the beginning, it takes us a lot of time, and some other people be involved, different from Philippines. But now when the machine started to do the profits, it's much more easier became to maintain it. And even though the competition is becoming tougher, when you have the right fundamentals, it's much more easy to handle it.
Yeah, you're quite right about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Great point. Like, you've got all the operations outlined to keep the business going, keep it profitable. So that allows a buyer to focus on the growth and other bigger picture areas, I guess. So over the sort of history of the business, everything you've done to grow it and stuff like that, what are sort of the main lessons you've learned from the business that you will apply to your other brand?
Yeah, I got a really important one. You need always to have stock on Amazon because Amazon loves it. When you don't have stock and you've got the best sellers and you run out of stock, it's really hard. And we did it. But you always need to have the stock on Amazon. That's why we use like combined shipment of direct FBA shipment and 3PL just to keep our stock on Amazon. That's, I think, from my side, the most important lesson.
Yeah, from my side, I always repeat it, not the Amazon business, it's more about Amazon sellers business. You always should be a part of the community of Amazon sellers. And these are the community group, because it's very hard to be alone and to build the business on your own. Amazon is changing so fast and so quickly. When you are on your own, then you need to spend a lot of time and efforts just to keep the speed up. But when you are part of this Amazon community groups, when you're listening to different podcasts, like Empire Flippers podcast, by the way, which I'm a big fan of, or the other stuff. And you talk with other Amazon sellers, and it's much more easier for you to get this knowledge and not to reinvent the wheel, which somebody had already done. The other lesson is love your brand. For me, as a marketing person, it's very obvious, but not for everybody. I've seen a lot of different businesses, and I've seen a lot of different sellers when people, they just chasing for the profits. And yeah, it can be the strategy, but for me personally, it sounds like very short term. If you're really looking for really to build a significant brand, a big one, which you want to sell it, you need to enjoy it every day. Because every day when I sit in to do this business, if this wouldn't be the brand which I like it, in every aspect of it, it will be hard. For now, both brands that we do have it's definitely in our hearts and souls. And the third one, choose the right partner. I don't know, what do you think? But from what we've seen in our almost 6 years in Amazon business, sounds like that there are a lot of Amazon sellers which go 2 persons for like 3 persons even. It's much more easier when you're just on your own.
Quite right. Yeah, I mean, to have that extra support is something that sellers certainly talk about quite a bit, and that's why they get involved in the communities, and people always speak highly of networking with people in Amazon communities to get that extra help and guidance and just to know you're on the right track, right? So yeah, all that stuff makes a lot of sense. Was there anything major that you tried with this business that didn't really work out for you?
No, a lot of. We've done, I think, most of mistakes of people who are starting the business from the scratch. And one of them was, for instance, when we were starting it, we even don't have a clue what kind of products we should be selling. And we were just chasing for the profits and easiness, blah, 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 this kind of stuff. It doesn't work. Well, it can for a short period of time, but everybody, I think, already knows the stories for, we call it this kind of story, like fidget spinners. And we're doing some crazy money on some hype products for one season, and they got stuck with a big stock on their shoulders. It's a very important one, first of all, just to love and to think about the products which you really love.
Yeah, I should add the one important thing. When it started, we didn't realize that how brand can make a huge impact on Amazon. Because when you create a brand and you get like these 20 SKUs, and they are like in the pool of ecosystem of Amazon, and Amazon loves it because you are like the proven brand in Amazon. And not a lot of people are actually building the brand itself. And not a lot of people are thinking about building a brand. But when we started this, we didn't realize it, how we can grow it. And now, like during this, I think 5 years, something like that, 6, we are here, and a lot of people know about our brand, and we created the brand, and we are proud of it, and we take care of it. So it wasn't our mistake, but we didn't even realize at the beginning how huge we can grow. For us, that was really amazing.
Yeah, also is one of the mistakes is like we think that we shouldn't go all in with some very bold moves. For instance, one of our mistakes was Australia. When Amazon started their operations in Australia, we think, okay, that's fantastic news. Let's assume how much we can sell there. And we just sent a lot of stock to this market, expecting that it will be selling. We are the best sellers already in US and Europe. Why we shouldn't be in Australia? At the end of the day, it turns out that we were selling the stock for more than a year just to get rid of it. And it was a loss, basically, to be honest. But yeah, it was a good lesson and good mistake that we have. I consider mistakes more like a lessons.
Yeah, it's a lesson. When Amazon sends you email like, hey guys, we are launching Amazon Singapore or something like that, you said yeah, it's okay. But we are focusing on our markets,
Absolutely, yeah, and I think that's one of the main benefits for a buyer is that they don't have to make the same lessons that you've already made and costly mistakes, I guess. So that's really interesting, good insights for a buyer listening.
And also, I can add that one of the mistakes that I was making, when I was starting, even though I have some experience in digital marketing before, I think I already know it. Then I'll just use my previous experience to drive Amazon. But it turned out that it's absolutely the other beast than Google. Maybe the basics, maybe some stuff is as it was from my previous experience, but a lot of stuff have been changed during this pass that we were going through with Max. So it's like the mistake that I was thinking about that I can use the same approaches, the same models that I was using before with Google Ads and with website, with Amazon. Not at all. Just, I would say about just 30, 40% at the beginning, even less. So for lesson for me, don't try to perceive it. It's the same business as some other stuff. With Amazon, you should constantly look on it on every different angle and try to figure it out.
I should also add one important thing, like it would be never a failure when you will be testing. Like test a lot. Guys, you can, like, if somebody is listening to this, you need to test on Amazon because you never know what will be working. As Vasil said, like, in order not to reinvent the wheel, you need to try something out. And it was never a failure. We never call it a failure. We call it lessons. So this works, this is not working. That's amazing on Amazon.
And the last, maybe but not least, is we have tried so many. We have a lot of ideas with Mac how we can improve this or other products. And we have made so many mistakes during this process and trying to understand how to develop and how to make sure this or other product will be good for the customers. Yeah, why it should be better for the customers. And one of the products, for instance, we also were selling it for more than a year. Yeah, Max?
Yeah.
So coming back to what Max is saying, like when you have some experience, even when you believe in this or other idea, try just before launching it to full steam ahead, just to test it on the market. Have a look at it with the God thanks and our Chinese factories, and Amazon helps you to do really little MOQs, little quantities of this or other product, testing it, and only after that, with the big orders, after trial order, do the proper first order.
And that's the amazing thing about the Amazon, actually, because you can test there online really quickly, and you can like get the feedback from the customers. It's different from retail, something like that. It's like there you can test, and the customers will tell you like that product, what to improve, and you can what Vasil is saying, you can easily go back to your supplier and make changes to the product and then order a big batch.
Excellent. Yeah, absolutely. So you talked about the traffic ventures you tried, Vasil. As for now, where does the majority of traffic come from? And what does your marketing look like for the business at this point?
For this brand is 100% Amazon, and because we don't use anything else but Amazon. We see a lot of potential with other source of traffic for our brand, but because it's growing and growing rapidly, we have decided, okay, because we are a small team and we need to do our priorities. So we say, okay, if it's growing well and growing quick on Amazon, don't dilute our attention, just make a focus on Amazon and that's it. Because we see that a lot of other channels, even for instance, we have a big opportunity in Germany for now. Again, at the beginning of this year, but unfortunately, we still couldn't use the whole potential of this market up till now, just because on the other markets, it's growing so fast that we couldn't handle it. So answering your question, the traffic comes mostly just from Amazon. And this is like organic search and paid search.
Yeah, and you sort of touched upon this, but what does the future look like for this business? What do you think are the major opportunities for growth?
From my side, Max will add definitely, but it sounds like there are three major pillars which can boost it even much further than it is for now, for somebody with maybe more experience and more better focus on it. The first, as already mentioned, are the markets. For instance, Germany. We have a market-proof, let's say, products that are good in USA, the UK, and Germany is one of that easily can get about 20 to 30% to the revenue. It can be the same market as the UK, we think so. And we started to do so. This is one of the potential we see there. The other one is, let's call it making real brand. because for now, even though we were trying to invest and to do, but still, I think there are like a big potential to work with influencers, to do the proper Instagrams and social media buzz around it, about all these problems with shoes that people are facing of. And this is like, I would say, we don't use the Google ads, for instance, even for now. We tried it once about 5 years ago, but it didn't work then. I would say, sorry, not 3, but 2 major. The others are, for me, it's not the biggest.
Here in this brand, you can add like tons of new products. There are a lot of variety of products that you can add here, and our Chinese suppliers got them. I believe this brand can grow like 3 or 4 times even higher, because in this niche, you can dominate a lot, especially with the quality of goods that we have right now. It's really amazing that what we made during these years, because we were testing a lot of things, and that's why we are here.
So there are other categories which are not in particular in this niche, but very close to this one, because they can be easily linked each other.
Yeah.
It's much more easier to launch in other categories which are linked with this one. Because when we've seen now with our SKUs, it's very interesting one. You mentioned about 26, but this is major SKUs are about 10 or 11. The cross-selling between these SKUs is very high. And because we have really big number of units that is sold daily, it's much more easy to launch a new product on this niche or the other niche, and it's much more easy to start selling it in a high volumes from the day one. Because of all this cross-selling stuff around this, I call it like ecosystem of our brand on Amazon.
Yeah, so that's for the opportunities for the business. What about the risks? What do you think are the biggest risks with this business that a buyer should be aware of?
Okay, you can make a laugh at me, but the big risk here is like when you're selling a lot, and the major thing for me is out of stock. You know, when you go to out of stock, you got a lot of hard times on Amazon to get it back, especially not the stock, but the bestseller badge. This is huge because always keep stock on Amazon, especially if you are a bestseller.
I would add the other thing is maybe, but I'm not sure how about this particular to this business, but what we've seen it across all the brands and around the increase of marketing costs, because the inflation for Amazon PPC from the beginning of this year was about 20 or 30%, depends on the category. And this is huge. So the margins, of course, we have reflected it in our products in terms of pricing, but I don't know how the PPC across all the categories on Amazon will such a high growth of cost per click, where it will end up and what will be. This is a risk, which to be honest, I don't know what impact it will have across all the businesses.
Yeah, absolutely. That inflation is a great point, and especially with the recent Amazon fee update and things like that, you always got to be aware of those things going on. So, excellent stuff. We've covered a lot of great stuff today, but overall, putting yourself in the shoes of a buyer, why do you both think this is a business worth buying?
This business got like a huge opportunity to grow, because there are other markets where you can expand. I mean, the market is close to Europe, and you can just simply make it double. There are other ways you can just grow it through the website, through Instagram, through influencers, through TikTok, where we are not doing that at all. You can do this on Shopify also. It will be much more easy because you've got everything right now. Just simply new platform, new market, proven product, and make a profit. For potential buyer, it should be, I think, like everything is working. Why not to expand? Especially if we know exactly where we should go. That's it.
If I would be the buyer, we're talking with Max, I definitely would be thinking to buy the business which is on the growing phase. And Brent is definitely the one which is growing double digit constantly. And I like it. And when you see that the business is growing so quickly, and as Max saying, has such a good potential even to grow it much faster, and when you have enough cash, that's a hit trick, or the jackpot. I don't know how to call it even. with good margins, definitely. I would say one thing which we see, I don't see such a broad picture as you maybe, Craig, with all the business which you are selling. From our side, this is good business in terms of ROI and margins, because it's the money is, you can return your money very quickly in terms of time and in terms of lead times, and the production times is much quicker than some other categories, electronics or some other stuff. Here in this category, the turnover for money is so quick and good margins. That's one of the strongest side of this business.
Absolutely. All valid and great points. So, regarding the sale of this business, would you commit to a non-compete?
Oh, definitely. Sure. Yeah. We wouldn't even compete because this is our first business, if I can say so. We will commit with Max some period of time to help the person who will buy it, to handle it and to put it to help with at the beginning with all the stuff around it, to make sure everything will go smoothly. For us, it's really important one that not to get rid of it as quick as possible. It's like your first love or first baby. You just make sure that it's on the proper hands and people know what they're doing, and we'll try to support it as much as possible. So no, it's not even about
to grow it.
Yeah, it's definitely not about the competition. I would say vice versa.
If we will help to grow it, we will give a lot of tips how to grow it, because we know. And definitely, yes, as Vasil said.
All the new products pipeline, all this stuff, it's all we presented.
Yeah.
Excellent. It's really good for a buyer to know that they're going to get that extra support on the transition of the sale. And as for the sale, are you open to negotiating something like an earnout?
To be honest, we didn't think about it. It depends. Because we need cash for the other business, as you understand, for the other brand that we need. For us, cash is more important. Let's negotiate. At least we can talk about it.
All right. Anything else you'd like to share that I might have missed?
I think that's it. You did it fantastic, Craig. Thank you from both sides.
Everything was amazing.
Thank you very much for your time, Max and Vasil. It's been great talking to you both.
You too, mate.
Thanks a lot, mate.
All right, everyone. Thanks for listening. To learn more and see if this listing has already been sold, head over to empireflippers.com/marketplace and search for listing 53420. If you're watching this on YouTube, click the link in the description to go straight to the listing. Once you've unlocked this listing, you'll be given everything you need to know about this business. So until next time, enjoy your digital journey.